If you want to make crazy gains in crypto, you've got to be prepared. And I've told you a ton of times that on this channel, we have called so many gems, so many coins that did more than 100x. And I think that over the next couple of months, I'm going to be able to share with you guys many coins that are going to be doing it again. Meaning coins that go from having $1,000 to you having $100,000, if not more. Because in a bull market, guys, it is just not that hard. And I've explained to you guys many times what phase of the bull market that we are currently in and how to make best use of that. But right now, there are just a couple of coins that are defying nearly all logic. And so in this video, I'm going to show you guys some of the coins that are doing extremely well right now, and I'll explain why they could do even better. And at the end of this video, I'll also go over at least one coin I'm getting into right now that I think could make us a massive amount of gains. Matter of fact, I might even throw in another one that I think is definitely worth looking into, because I'm telling you right now, if you consistently keep buying into these crypto gems and you do not make crazy amounts of money, it's on you, because it's very hard not to make gains in a bull run. And with the coins that I'm about to talk about. Not financial advice, but let's discuss. So like I said, we're going to talk about multiple cryptos that are doing extremely well right now with reasons as to why and why I think they could be doing even better. So make sure you watch this video all the way through, because also at the end, extremely important, we're going to be talking about a couple of coins I think could do crazier gains that are smaller caps. But just from a monthly perspective, you can already see some of the coins that are going absolutely insane. One of the best contenders being Solana, one of the best contenders being Avalanche, one of the best contenders being Chainlink, Rune, IMX, you name it. But I'd say one of the ones that had the craziest performance recently is called Kaspa. And the simple explanation of what they do is that they're a better Bitcoin. So a proof of work crypto with some interesting changes. They had a fair launch back in, I believe, November of 2021. So they've been around for a while, but not too long. I believe they basically launched in the peak of the previous bull run, but taking a look at their performance over time after their fair launch, where nobody was basically allowed any massive bags because they founded it in theory, right? Because it's a fair launch. You can see, I mean, let me just zoom in here with my eyes real quick. It is up 75,000% since that point. So since about a year and a half, it says right here. For some reason, it doesn't include the history from before that. Perhaps because it was too small to even get listed on here. Of that, I am not too sure. But one of the reasons why people are so excited about Kaspa right now is because they just got themselves a listing on the biggest crypto exchange called Binance. Now, I should also add that a lot of people are banking on Kaspa, since it's a little bit better of Bitcoin, to be the next Ethereum. But I think one of the main reasons why Kaspa is doing so amazing right now is this. If you think about it, what gets most crypto projects to go down massively in price is the fact that major institutions are making money off of it because they bought in very early. With Kaspa, the thing is, though, like I just said, there are most likely not a crazy amount of institutions that consistently keep dumping because of the way they launched. They had a fair launch. So I personally think that one of the main reasons these guys at Kaspa are able to do better than a coin like Solana, even though Solana is also insane, and why they could do better is because they have got less massive bag holders, less massive dumpers, and because right now the coin is already in price discovery. Everybody who ever bought in is already in massive amounts of profit. A lot of people are just going to push this one through. Bull market vibes, because they've got nothing to lose anymore. Especially now that they just got a listing on the biggest crypto exchange out there. The only warning I will give is that you could very well see a slight correction, or perhaps a good correction, because we're not in the most bullish phase of the bull market just quite yet. But Kaspa, because of the performance quite recently, because of the crazy excitement, because fundamentally it's a pretty good crypto, and because of the biggest crypto exchange listing, this coin is in a very good position right now. But I will once more warn you that this could also be a crazy hype tactic where these guys got into a certain lane that most other altcoins would not be able to replicate. What I mean with that is many people in the comments will say, hey, this is the next Kaspa, but you've got to understand these guys have been building for a decade. They know what they're doing, have got no VC dumping. Most crypto projects that claim to be the next Kaspa or claim that they can make similar type of gains were just created by a dude in their basement trying to make some money. not based on research, not proper fundamentals, which has got to bring us to Solana. So the reason I brought Solana in second and not first here is because Solana right now is not close to their all-time high of about $250. The main reason being that this was around the peak of the bull market, crazy amounts of hype, and the downfall was fueled by the fact that FTX went down, because FTX and Alameda were heavily involved in Solana, and even to this day, FTX is the crypto exchange founded by Sam Bankman-Fried, a guy who's right now facing a couple 100 years in jail for fraud and a lot of other charges. And their investment arm, they basically funded a lot of Solana, and for that reason have a ton of it and are staking a ton of it too. And over this period of time, there was basically massive amounts of fear that they'd be dumping. But right now, a lot of the excitement comes back in because at least parts are now being released about the FTX plan with Solana. And it was now being shared that no, they will be staking, they'll not be dumping. That was originally anticipated. People were fearful because the total value locked, meaning the DeFi on Solana, the amount of money stuck on there was going down massively. But people then again started thinking, well, the backend of Solana is so proper, and the fact that it was down from $250 all the way towards like $10 made people realize this coin, even though it should probably not be at the $250 mark right now, is heavily undervalued at like $12 and stuff. Together with the fact that major VCs right now, VCs being venture capital funds, big investors, they're trying to get in to a lot of new projects launching on Solana soon. I think this bull run, Solana being a platformer like Ethereum, can actually get a ton of new interest from venture capitalists because I see it already happening. I see that these guys are already actively investing in new massive things built on Solana. A good example could be 𝗪𝗏. People are trying to ape in hard because this is being built on Solana. And I don't think a lot of people know about all this because I'm telling you right now, I don't think there's a single crypto YouTuber out there, nobody on crypto YouTube, nobody that is as deeply rooted in the early stage crypto investments as I am, that talks about them every single day, that talks about their investment journey. Again, I am not saying there aren't better investors than I. I'm not saying there aren't people with more money. I'm saying that most people that are as deep in the investment realm don't share their story, don't share their investments, and won't talk about them. A part of that reason is because it's hard for normal people to get the connections to get into these early stage projects, but also because the investment realm is a very selfish industry. Please understand that what I'm sharing with you now, I have no reason to share for my own benefit, basically. I'm only sharing this because I think sharing my thought process, sharing my investment updates, sharing my investment processes might help you guys make better investment choices, even though I'm not a financial advisor, because I know that 99.9% of the people that actively invest as a venture capital fund are not sharing these stories. But obviously, if you're into the game, you know which crypto projects all the VCs are trying hard to get into. And right now, many retail, so many normal investors, are crazy hyped about Solana too, because they've got massive airdrops. And a lot of these posts over on Twitter are getting crazy excitement for a potential Solana airdrop. And they're basically what you call retro drops, where you involve yourself with the platform built on, for example, Solana, a protocol, I should say. That means Solana is the platform, right? This is like your mobile phone, so to speak. That's Solana. On your phone, you've got apps. Now, what these guys basically do is if you use the app on your phone, you might get yourself some loyalty points, let's call it. Maybe not, but maybe you will. Every app has different rules. Every app has different parameters, but you might. And so what people do is they download all the apps. There's no actual download involved for the most part. I'm just giving an example here. They go for all the apps. They interact with every single one of them every single day with a lot of money, and they try as much as possible to hopefully, right, get one of these apps to pay you loyalty points, which could be a couple thousand or a couple tens of thousands of dollars. That's basically what people are expecting off of the Solana ecosystem for the next couple of months. And I'd say that's another reason why people are so extremely excited about Solana right now. The prospect of this being the airdrop season for the platform. If you're still watching this far into the video, make sure you press that like button, because why not? You've got nothing to lose. Like I was saying though, the entire crypto market is in an interesting position right now, with so many coins making massive amounts of gains. Near up 110% this month, 𝗬𝗏, Rune up 230% this month, IMX up 155%. And even though there will always be articles of all these analysts warning you for sharp declines, what I'll tell you right now is that many of the coins that are performing the best right now, and this is something, again, most people are completely wrong on, many of the coins that are performing best right now will continue on with this movement. The reason for that being that right now, we're in such a bullish phase of this market that if people get excited about the coin, usually they don't dump hard, they don't let go because they're expecting more gains to follow. Meaning, if this was a really bearish period, many coins that will be up 200% would dump the following month, like a Celestia, for example. They dump very hard. But the reason they won't, in my opinion, most of them at least, won't fall that hard is because there's excitement around it that won't fade because the market's so bullish. A Synthetics here, for example, it's up 15% right now in a very bearish period. Tomorrow, this coin would be down probably like 20% to wipe out all the gains. In a bullish period though, usually you see that the excitement brings in tons of new eyeballs, brings in tons of new people. We're speculating yet again, leading to some sort of snowball effect. What I've also started to notice is that a lot of the previous run gems like PancakeSwap, where a lot of people trade these shit coins, are doing well too. They're picking back up the pace. But as you can probably see here, most of these coins are still down 95%. Mina, for example, they did crazy well, plus 70% this month, based on the fact that they got listed over in South Korea. Similarly, coins like 𝗓𝗓, the main reason they're doing so well is because of South Korean exchange listings. There are a lot of coins I know many of the early backers in that did really well previous run that are picking back up the steam. Like, for example, Illuvium here, one of the most well-known gaming coins. The team is wonderful. The guys are very well-versed and they've got good planning. These guys know what they're doing. Even though you can indeed see some slight negatives here, you can see it's up 12% throughout the day, 3% over the hour down. But the gains that we're witnessing right now are still minimal to where it could go to. Because again, right now some of the hype is back, so I think it's going to get some consistent and consecutive gains, but still, oh, my camera's out. Got a little bit distracted. Point being, prices on the up and up again, and they're doing really well in the short term, but still they're nowhere in comparison to where they were before. So the fact that they're getting some traction right now most likely will lead people to understand there's so much more money to be made here still. There's so much more to grow as the bull market continues on. It's still down so much from their all-time high. Let's freaking go. And the difficult story here comes in that I personally think many of the coins that will still perform the best are even coins that are at the top. Like, for example, Chainlink, down 72% from their all-time high, up 100% this month. I still personally think they're very undervalued. The only problem is they've already gained a pretty good amount since I started talking about them. Because again, these are gems we've talked about consistently over time. A Chainlink, an Avalanche, an Optimism, a PancakeSwap, but we needed to wait for the right time for these things to do well, and right now is the time. If you're wondering why coins like FTT are doing so well, there's hype for the exchange relaunching, which got the price to do really, really well. I'm just quickly saying that that's what caused this price to rise, up 200% this month. And getting back to Optimism real quick, when I went over to Asia just now, as you guys know, I travel a lot, most of the time for investor relations. So just to meet other investors, say hi, kind of see what they're up to. And because traveling is kind of nice, I personally think. I think if you've got the means and it's something you enjoy, then go for it. I don't have to be in one country for a long time in a row. So I travel most months of the year. And that's why you see a lot of different backgrounds all the time in my videos, because I'm gone 9 out of 12 months, I think. Over in Asia, though, I noticed that we in the West, depending of course on where you're watching this from, but most people that watch are in America or Europe or Dubai, in the West, have a different philosophy than in the Far East. When I went to Taiwan, when I went to South Korea, when I went to Hong Kong, most of these guys have a very different investment strategy than over in the West. And one of those coins that I have talked about for a while because they're pretty crazy in terms of tech and in terms of usage. And I think I hold this with the same regard as that I hold Chainlink. But Optimism is a coin that they are in the East so extremely excited on, but in the West, I hear almost nothing about. I hear almost nobody talking about optimism, yet, I'm pretty optimistic about it. I'd say it's easier to talk about coins like Render and go into the AI narrative, go into saying, hey, this coin is involved with AI, for example, and AI is pretty booming, so the coin goes up. It's a lot easier to say that than coins like Chainlink or Optimism that are fundamental builders, meaning they're used in the background for nearly everything, but you just don't see it. And those have got the real interest from the big money, but sometimes they're not hyped up as much. But that doesn't mean they won't make us crazy amounts of gains. So it's definitely worth looking into and considering a Chainlink and your Optimism, even though they're already extremely high in the market cap, purely from the perspective that I think they're undervalued because most people just don't know about them. Most people just see the very front row. They think, hey, AI crypto, some YouTube guy talked about it. I saw it on Twitter. Let's go for it. They don't think about, hey, what actually has proper fundamentals? And I think sometimes it comes to light, which is why coins like Kaspa are doing so well right now. But most of the time it stays under the radar. But hey, now you know. And now I'm going to tell you something that most people will not tell you. Please listen carefully. And if you've not pressed that like button yet, right now is your time to do so. I'll tell you right now, if you want to turn $1,000 into $1 million, if you want to turn $10 into $5 million, I will tell you right now that it's possible. Most people will tell you it's not, but I've seen it happen multiple times. And anybody saying, no, it's not, this guy's lying, just doesn't know it. They're just ignorant, and I would even call them fools for saying such things. Because just because you haven't seen it or you don't know about it doesn't mean it's not possible and doesn't mean it's not more common than you could have ever realized. I am predicting right now that if I made a group of 1,000 people, 10 people that I give $10 to could turn it into $1 million. Why? Because in a bull run, if you dedicate yourself enough, anything is possible. Again, guys, remember my story. I started out with $0 invested in crypto. Even though I started with crypto a decade ago, my journey for the first couple of years was a lot of ups and downs. But the reason I made this channel, when I started talking about my investments a lot more, was because, funny enough, I won a giveaway. The last time I bought crypto with actual money is all the way back in 2013. So my journey comes from $0 of my own personal investment. It's all money that was made. And so whenever people say, you can't start out with nothing, I referred back to them and say, I started out with $0 of my own money. Somebody sent me a giveaway. Let's just say I won $20 over somebody, and look at where we are today. And that's always funny about the story. But when I tell people then what to do, often people are skeptical because they just can't comprehend. But I tell people, many of the coins I talk about will fail. And I'm completely okay with that. Many of the trades I make will not make me profit. Realize this though. If I place 100 investments, and that is a very low amount, because in a bull market, I go crazy, buying a couple of coins every single day, right? Sometimes you buy 20 coins in a day because of the proposition I'll tell you right now. If I buy 100 coins and 95% of them fail, if I started out with $100, that means I'm now down to $5 left if I bought $1 a coin. I know though, based on my previous experience and just some logical probability, that out of those 5 that will do well, one of them will probably be a 200, 300xer, meaning I turned that $1 into 2 or 300. One of them will probably be a 40x, one of them will probably be a 5 or 10x, another will be probably like a 40, 50x, meaning even though most of them I'll lose money on, I only need a couple good ones to make me massive amounts of returns. And I've already shared so many of these projects with you guys throughout the years that have done 1200x, 400x, 200x. Realize that if you've got one coin that does a 1200x, you could have filled 1,199 times to still be break even, basically. But it's impossible to fill 1,200 times unless you're just throwing money in the garbage bin. It almost can't happen. But that's if you're actively looking for it though. You're finding the right groups where the right people are talking about it. And that's why I said join Discord to always be close to me and always be in a like-minded community. But I think we're launching a group soon of just people who are dedicated enough to spend actual time. I don't want people that are just going to be freeloaners who want to spend actual time researching these cryptos, researching these different communities to understand which coins are going to pump next. And I'll try to guide them as much as I can. But please understand by no means that I am going to get all this stuff right. But here's another coin. I think there's only a couple of hours left though, but I'm just sharing it with you guys anyway, just for in case, right? I'm just trying to share as much as possible. Sometimes there's not enough time though. But if you're a viewer of this pretty early, then perhaps there's still something possible. One of the coins I'm getting into is this coin right here. It's called 𝗕𝗏, building a seamless trading experience integrated with Telegram. It's getting a crazy amount of hype right now, powered by Starkware. If you don't know, this was one of the most massive hypes in the previous run, anything Starkware related. Here's another coin I'm trying to get into. I've seen a lot of people talk about it. I don't even fully know exactly what they do. Don't ask me, don't really care. And this is funny. Sometimes people come up to me and say, Dusty, you guys are what ruined crypto because you're only looking for profit. You don't even care what the project does. How can it be a good project? And I tell you, if every investor only looked at the actual value of these things instead of just knowing what does well, the whole world would look different. People actively look for money. They don't look for actual value most of the time. They look for what's about to do well. A good argument here is that a person that hates crypto can still buy crypto. A person that, let's call it a bank, can still get into crypto because they know their clients want it. Even though Bitcoin goes against their whole thesis of a banking system, they still might buy themselves Bitcoin. They still might get themselves Bitcoin, and so forth and so on. These guys are looking for where the money is. They're not looking for what's the most fundamentally shocking and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm just naming some coins I'm looking into. One more crazy hype narrative I think everybody should get into is those coins that are launching on, or anything involved with ordinals, so everything on Bitcoin basically. Any inscription, anything in that in a ballpark is something pretty interesting. I bought some meme coins on that. I just throw some money left and right. Again, whatever I share here, I fully know can still lose me money. I'm not sharing this with you to build a track record. I'm just sharing it because I invested in them. If it fails, it fails. I'll always be honest and open with you. At the end of the day, we're just trying, and I've personally got a recipe that works for me, and I know it works, but some people will still have their own opinion. Anyway, another one, and this is a good example of things that don't do exceedingly well. I invested into quite recently was 𝗲𝗏. Why? Bitcoin related, crazy amounts of hype. It did pretty well. This is just after listing, it didn't do so well. I think they've got some interesting things in the pipeline though. And that's the thing. As hype builds up, I think a lot of these projects that have already got themselves good listings and keep continuing on with the community will still pick it back up and do exceedingly well. I'm still holding my bag on this. And in no way, shape, or form am I telling you guys, go ahead and buy this right now. I'm saying I bought into it. I'm holding on. And I just keep trying that with different coins that I see some potential in. And the reason I did this one is because, as I said, the Bitcoin narrative, meme coins on Bitcoin, interesting concept. If I see some that have got some good hype around it or some good backing or some good connections to exchanges, I'll put some money into it. And most of the time, it will work out for me. For example, I can predict right now, because these guys have done a lot better than expected, they could get another exchange listing and boom, price could do a lot better than what it is at right now. Again, I'm not guaranteeing that, I'm just saying it can. But you can see the spread here, it's very significant because, well, it's still a relatively small type of coin. I'm just saying though, that's something I always look into. One of the other coins I got into quite recently, at least in the early round, so I think I'm in massive amounts of profit here, was Republic. And that's also because these guys are just amazing. Going from Web 2 to Web 3, it's always a risk because they might not know what they're doing in the crypto field. And over on the right, some people are very negative about it. And there's again a good example of where not everything goes amazing initially, but a counter argument to that is other projects where the initial didn't look that amazing, but as you can see right there, it just did really amazing over time. And I've actually got a ton of examples of that where you invest in the early round or the private sale or even the public sale for that matter. The start is awful, but then after a while, because people are looking for new crypto gems left, right, and they start seeing the fundamentals potentially, or the hype just picks up, or the marketing ramps up, the coin all of a sudden gains traction, and as it gains that traction, it starts going insane. A good example is Kaspa. It didn't do that well for a good while, but after it gained the traction, it wasn't able to be stopped. Here's another coin I don't think is even launched. No, it has not. I didn't even, you see some you invest in a while back, you forget about them. But these guys I met many times in Dubai, amazing builders, I can't say anything else. I think they might be going for a sale now too, actually. That's actually a pretty good coincidence that I made a video about this right now, or perhaps their sale is already over. No, officially hasn't even started yet, the sale, I see. Anyway, these guys are building something proper. I just checked. Seed price 38 cents. Public round price, I believe $1. And even though you don't know how crazy their marketing is going to be, I know some of the guys behind this have done exceedingly crazy launches in the past. And so there is some massive opportunity. Once more, Never put all your eggs into one basket, but I'm just sharing, and I'm looking through my my investments here, which ones are interesting and recent and have some sort of possibility still. Because you've got to realize, in the bull market, there's money plenty, meaning you will need to find the right way to get yourself into these proper investments. It's not just about having money. It's about knowing the right people. And I always say, if, you know what? No, too much information. I'll only share this to people. No. Anybody who's watched my channel for a while knows what I was about to say. The connections game. I've talked about it so deeply. I will not share it again today. If you watch my channel more often though, you'll know the full story about how I know anybody can make millions, if not tens of millions of dollars in a couple of years, if they're dedicated enough, and have either got very good analytical skills or social skills. If you're not good at analyzing anything, right? You're not good at noticing a pattern. You're not good at noticing potential, or you're not good at noticing, you know, some good intent from people. You're not good at noticing energy, or you're not good at noticing any sort of, or I should say, you're not good at social skills. You're not good at talking to people, being with people, or anything like that. It's more difficult. But if you're either good at any of those things, you're either good at seeing some patterns, noticing some things other people are not noticing, you're good with social skills, so talking to people, and so forth and so on. Yeah. The opportunities are aplenty. But the craziest part there is that somebody needs to give you guys the cheat sheet about how to get in. But the problem there again is that if everybody were to get in, it wouldn't work. So that's why I said at the start, most investors are gatekeeping this stuff from you because it's competition. Let's say you knew all the secrets, right? If you did, yeah, less for the rest. It's the truth. Most people do not want to share their investment strategies because that means if you also try to buy in early, I might get myself a higher price. I might get myself less coins. They'd prefer if you bought in later, or even that you didn't know about it at all once it's not mooned yet, so they can make all the gains or sell on top of you. But that's where right now, what I'm going to do, whenever I make some investments, I'm going to try, whenever there's opportunities at least, share them with you guys also. And that will mean that many of them I'll still not talk about. Why? I'm thinking it's not that nice of me if I keep saying, hey, guys, I invested in this and that. You guys can't, but here you go. I'd prefer to talk about things that people can actually get into, or that I just buy off the market, that anybody could buy right now today. That's not an early sale of sorts, but just a publicly listed coin. Because even many of those will still make crazy numbers in a matter of time, like in all previous runs. Another thing we're going to talk about a lot on this channel, because there's so many things to discuss, and this video is already half an hour, so I'm going to cut it. But soon enough, we're going to have to talk about cashing out strategies. I know people who've lost hundreds of millions of dollars over the last couple of years. How many of those do you know? If you say less than 10, please listen to me. That's all I'm saying. If you know many of them, yeah, you don't need this information. And the most important thing there being, if you don't have a good cash out plan, you're going to probably lose most of your assets again. It's the truth. There are people who had a net worth of $800 million 2 years ago who are now back down to 100 mil. You might think, oh, still 100 million. True, but you did lose $700 million. And this is not even because of an exit scam. There are some guys that are very well known in the crypto space, some of your main crypto YouTubers, who also lost tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. Even though they're telling you stories about it, they themselves might be losing money. It's funny. I love Rand, by the way. A very nice guy, an amazing father, good guy. I think he also lost, though, $100 million or something like that when Luna rug pulled. And anybody in hindsight could have said, man, you talk about crypto all the time. You know the power of diversification. You know this, you know that. You know. He still did it wrong. And that's why I tell people, make sure that even though you know the strategy, that you actually implement it also. And last but not least, I'll say, man, I trust the cycle. I trust that right now the bull market started, that things are about to go insane. I'm buying many of these different altcoins, gems and whatnot, purely because of market sentiment. If the market was bearish, I wouldn't do it because most things would fail. In a bull market, though, most things succeed. It's a probability game. And if you play this game time and time again, you'll come out on top. Meaning you might now start with your investment journey. You might now buy yourself 10 coins and they all fail. It's possible. Any person that's invested in a lot knows sometimes you have a losing streak. I think you could even get a losing streak of 80 if you're just throwing money around like this. But it's different to gambling. wait a minute. And the reason it's so vastly different is because you have positive EVs, whereas with these casino type of stuff, you have negative EVs, meaning here, if you place 100 investments, your expected return should be 50 or something like that. Meaning, I think on average, people will like 50x their money if they go absolutely crazy and if they don't have crazy amounts of money to start with. Meaning, if you start out with $1,000, I think it's a lot easier, I know it's a lot easier, to turn it into 50,000 than if you're starting out with $10 million, for example, turn it into 500 million. Obviously, if your crypto project does well, it still could be that you can only cash out $20,000, $30,000 before you wreck the entire market. But then if you only start out with 10 bucks, that's crazy, right? In terms of the return on investment. If you started out with $20,000 though, and you can only cash out a couple $1,000, even though it's nice, the ROI is a lot less. But yeah, I think we'll start talking about that soon either, as well as the bull market goes on. How to cash out massive amounts of money. How do OTC deals work? What desks are reputable? How to cash out millions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars responsibly? How to make sure it lasts a lifetime, because as I said, you'd be surprised as to how many people turn their fortunes into zero over time. We should talk more about greed in money as well. Some people I know have hundreds of millions of dollars and still are trying to take a dollar from every corner they can. And even though I'm not against that, I still consider to some extent it greed, the way that some people do it at least. I am more sometimes of the mindset of spread the knowledge, not spread the wealth as in just give money around freely to anybody who asks. I think that's a little bit insane. But I'm sometimes against this idea of me, and more of the, if you've got everything your heart desires, if you've got literally anything, try help out others. And a lot of people in the crypto space don't have this. They think, oh, I need all the money. But we'll talk about that more, about the greed mindset and just about coins to buy. That's the most important part about it all. Right now we're preparing and I'm trying to steam you guys into it. But it's hard because many people still will not trust the process. Many people look at this video and think, you know what? This guy probably is talking about some random stuff. And unfortunately, most people will only know that what I say is the objective truth. There's no denying this. There's no disputing this. There's no argument to be made here for anything else than what I just said. But they'll only start noticing that after the bull market, which is sad. But hey, I'm not saying believe a random guy on the internet. I'm saying look into what I'm saying, do the research for yourself, and come to your own conclusions. But if what I'm saying makes sense, all I'm saying is you might want to subscribe. But hey, you're not doing it for me. If you don't watch my video tomorrow, I'm not losing money over that. You do whatever you please. What I am actively looking for, and if you're identifying as a person of such, is people who are willing to put in the effort, time, and I'd say mind. How do you say this? Like the brain power. Anybody who's got proper skills in any field, join any of our communities. All I'm saying is stay as close as possible, because soon enough, I'm going to open up a group. I said this for months and I've never done it because I don't know the right way to do it. I do not want to charge anybody. I've never sold anything, never charged anybody for anything, but it's very hard to make a proper group where people are incentivized to put in effort and not just free loan that they didn't actively pay to get into, which is the difficult part about it. That's why most groups are paid. A lot of people have got too much money. They don't care about the money from the group. Many of these traders have the same mindset too. You might think, no, those traders make money off the groups. Some do, but a lot don't. The $200,000, the $500,000 a month that some of these guys bring in is just not that much to many people. I'm speaking like a maniac, but it's the truth. You only know these truths if you're in them though. And I keep reminding people that life is crazy in so many fields. How many people do you know to making $1 million a day? It's possible. It's not that crazy. It's not that wild. There's multiple people. There's a 20-year-old guy who makes $2 million days sometimes. It's like, what? What is life? Okay, I'm having more of these breakdowns more often in these videos, I notice, because I'm just amazed at how little you know, not you particularly, but just the people we know about money, because everybody's gatekeeping. Another good example is people come up to me often and say, oh, does that YouTube stuff earn something? Has two sides to it. On the one hand, I'll tell you, if you are a proper content creator, like a MrBeast, for example, right? I'm not sure if you know him, but he's the most popular creator out there. This guy's raking in tens of millions of dollars a month, or at least let's say $10 million a month. And whatever number you hear online, you don't know what they're raking in. I've said before, some of the top artists in the world, you can Google the net worth. Some of the top blah, 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 you can Google the net worth. You won't know. The billionaire list has 1,800 people on there. I'd say there's at least 18,000. You don't know because most people do not want to share how much money they have. I'd say out of 10 billionaires out there, 9 of them would not like you to know how much they have. Following that probability, there's probably 10 times as many billionaires as the list shows. Money is more abundant than most people realize. The percentage of millionaires are way higher than the numbers are showing, but it's skewed more towards the top than people realize, meaning there are so many more people in that very, very high millions of dollar field than on the low end of the millions. Not relatively, obviously there's way more many people with low millions. I'm just saying there's so much more relatively than people realize than with the normal millionaires. or establish a basis of how many people have $1 million plus, for example. There's the only time ever that I'll claim authority after studying data science and econometrics that I can say, that's a model I trust. No, never trust any model. Models are always optimizable. Anyway, going away from my story again, I will share once more. If you're any type of person that wants to really go for it, and you're a person that knows a lot about crypto, either about crypto, about DeFi, or this is the most important thing I'll tell again, anybody who says, I'm willing to learn, but doesn't know anything, doesn't know what Bitcoin is, don't come to me. And the reason I'm being so harsh with that is because almost nobody has the time to teach you the basics. In these videos, I'll teach you. In these videos, I'll go over all the basics of what a Bitcoin is. Or perhaps there'll be a simple course at some point, just going over the beginner steps. But if you're trying to get into these advanced investment strategies, you've got to realize the basics for yourself. Google it, YouTube it, I don't care. You're not entitled to anything. You don't deserve anything unless you're willing to put in the effort, which is why I always say, I only want people who are actively trying. Oh, I'd like some money. Don't come to me. You want to make money? You want to be an investor, you want to do well, and you're willing to put in the work, we can talk, we can sit, because I can't spoon feed anybody. I don't have the time for that. I don't have the effort, how do you say it? The willingness. I don't care about you that much. I care only about the people who are willing to put in the effort and actually give feedback to me too. So you're actively looking for these different crypto coins everywhere too. I will try to explain to you as much as I know, tell you all the knowledge I've got. I do not want somebody to just say, Dusty, tell me whatever, and no. You gotta be willing to put in the effort to sit there, go look through the things I'm looking through and think with me, and hopefully at some point on your own, and then come to me with your ideas as to what coins could do well, what coins people are getting into, what's getting a lot of traction and hype right now, or why we shouldn't go for that coin, yada, yada, yada. You have to make this mindset instead of just following. If you're just following, I still think you can become a millionaire. I'm not saying you can't, but those are not the people I want in my core little circle because it's too much effort. You only want people who are actually dedicated. And luckily, there's not that many people who are willing to put in the time. But I remember 6 years ago, when I was first making videos on this channel, 7 years ago almost, man, if you saw my working hours, not really being productive, just researching. I got scammed a ton of times, but it was okay. It was all to understand the game. I think this is the longest video I've made in months, but I'd say it's also the most important one I've made in months. Hopefully learn something from it. I know the structure of these videos can sometimes be annoying because I blabber on a little bit too much. But like I said, if you've got so much knowledge in different fields and so many different viewers, because most of the videos are watched by thousands of people, right? There are people from every different angle. Some people know a little bit about crypto. Some people know a ton. Some people know how to farm airdrops. When I say, for example, now, hey, look into Coinbase or Base airdrops, look into Solana airdrops, they'll be like, all right, on it. Check it out, take a look. Some people be like, well, what exactly is that? And so you have to make it for two different levels of experience. But in reality, there's like 10 different levels of experience. Another good example of that is DeFi. I've often stated before, if you've got yourself pretty good money, you can actually find a ton of DeFi strategies that are pretty safe with crazy returns. Or if you've got a lot of crypto locked up anyway, there's a lot of interesting DeFi strategies. This is for the people that have already got a pretty good amount of wealth. But if you've got, for example, $10 million, make it act as 18 or something along those lines, $1 million, which effectively is another $8 million that you can use to invest. But again, that's not really the situation for most people. And so then I'm thinking, where do you explain this? To who do you explain this if most people will not find it useful? Which is always hard. Because on the opposite side, I sometimes think maybe we should go back to the basics of basics. But perhaps you watching this video already know all of that. So then, yeah, then it will be annoying to watch. So that's why sometimes these videos are a bit over the place, because I don't know where to start. And I don't know where to end. I don't know how much I should say. I sometimes wonder, why are most people that know about all this not telling people this? Are they afraid? Are they afraid of losing money? Do they not want to tell their followers how to get rich? What would be a good reason to gatekeep this information? And obviously I've thought about it. I've thought, why would these guys not share these things that we all know? I'm going full out on spilling the secrets here, because there are many groups that you can only get into if you've got a net worth of $20 million, $50 million, and perhaps there's higher ones, who knows, right? Perhaps there's groups with billionaires only, I wouldn't know. Yeah. That have got crazy strategies that they won't share with normal people. Poor people almost. I'm not saying that, you understand what I mean. Anyway, the craziest path towards all that is going crazy on altcoins. That's what I keep believing, that's what I keep sharing. If anybody tells you differently, nah, probably don't know what they're talking about. It's the truth. anything right now in the altcoin sector is pretty good to go for. I'm not really a big fan of selling Bitcoin, but even right now, I think about selling Bitcoin for altcoins, but I kind of don't want to. But it's actually the best strategy right now. But yeah, if you're going aping crazy on altcoins right now, I think you'll do exceedingly well. And even though I'm not a financial advisor, I'll guarantee, shouldn't say that. I will almost guarantee one thing. Over the next 1.5 years, you'll make more money if you play this game properly than you've ever made in your life. Unless you've made crazy amounts of money that you got from inheriting it. Now, even then, if you use the money properly, you'll make more than you've ever made in your life. I think so. And I think anybody who doesn't played the game wrong, that's it. Hopefully, I'll see you guys again in another video soon, which is why I sometimes say you might want to subscribe. You might want to put your notification on. What if there's an opportunity and you've only got like 20 minutes to invest? If you didn't have your notifications on, you'd be too late. And even though you might not want to click on most videos, I don't care. You do whatever you want. I try to share the news whenever it comes out and the most important stuff. And occasionally a video like this where I spill all the secrets that most people are not willing to share with you for some reason. And make sure that you check out the Discord with the link down below. Again, if I ever make a group, I'll probably leave the link down below too. But right now we've got nothing. We've only got Discord. We've only got our Twitter. We've only got Telegram, which are all cool places to stay in touch, but not that dedicated core community just quite yet. Because I'm not sure if the interest is there. I want to see people really say, yeah, let's go for it, and then we'll probably go for it. But I only keep it open for a little bit of time then, because it's again annoying if you have to go back to the basics every time. You kind of want people to be there, then you grow with them over the next few months. So you don't have to kind of like, hey, welcome, here's the basics. No, you just, everybody who's in is in. Teach them a lot of stuff, then perhaps open it again after a year or so, who knows. We'll probably just never open it again. Open it once, get a group of people in that are really dedicated, steam them! And I'll also leave some links to exchanges down below that I personally use. Check them out for yourself if that's something you're interested in. Those are the crypto exchanges I use to buy or sell crypto or to trade crypto. And usually there are massive bonuses that you can get from using the links down below, which is why I always leave them there. It's nice that an exchange like Bybit, for example, usually, if you use the link down below, that is, gives like $30,000 worth of free trading bonuses to incentivize you to use their platform. Every exchange has their own rules and their own bonus structures, but Bybit has a pretty good one. And perhaps I'll leave another link down below to another exchange. You might want to check it out. If you're still not sure where to go about all this crypto stuff, just check those links down below. Because most coins I'll be buying that are established, I'll buy on Bybit. If they're not, it'll be bought through DEXs. And if you want to steam yourself for the crypto bull market, I'll talk about it in the next video, I think. KYC account. So have an exchange that you've got your KYC on. Understand on-chain trading. I'm just thinking now what is most important. Understand how to cash out. It doesn't matter if you cash out to your fiat, but just to be able to go to stablecoins. But research potentially how to actually cash out to your bank or whatever you want to cash out to. Or understand peer-to-peer cashing out. If you're in a place like Dubai and stuff like that, it's so easy. If you're in America, actually Coinbase, stuff like that are also very easy. I guess it's more about countries where crypto is restricted that you might have to consider and think about that. Think about how much you're willing to lose and your risk. Write down your goals. I always say, the reason I always have a little notebook here and there is also because if I'm thinking of something, I'll write it down because then you get more certain about it. You believe it better. And of course, watch my video updates. That's the most important part of all. Yeah, that's about it, I think. If you watch this all the way through, just write down below, DustyBC Army taking over. I don't think many people will watch this all the way through, but if you did, you're a real one. And I'm going to try give you guys all the knowledge that I've got. I'm going to try every single fiber of my body to streamline you into making it crazy big this bull run. So if you watch this all the way through, comment that down below so I know who the real ones are. And I'll see you again in another crypto video, hopefully later today.